All right, guys, welcome back here to the August NA Open. I'm Solid Jake, joined by Kubi, and we're going into our round of 16 match for today.
Winner of this qualifies into top 8, and we have a fantastic series for you guys. I think probably the best. It is the best. It is the best match you guys will be able to see today.
Period. On any of the streams, and
Yes.
like the pairings of these two teams, by far the most even.
Yeah. Both teams got top 5 in July Open.
And both teams deserve to qualify for regionals.
Yeah.
That's how good they are. But only one can move on to that round of 8. It's singly lim at this portion. Once you advance past this point, it does become doubly lim. But let's take a look at the pricing that is available for this event.
So, teams that have been competing today, I'm trying to recall the team we just saw eliminated, Impact.
Yep.
They're going to get themselves a crispy $300.
Not bad.
Team that falls here will get themselves 600, but it's really that top 8 prize pool. Man, it just like jumps up so fast. I'm thinking back to June, where I want to say it was like, I don't know, like $400 or something for the top 8 teams, but 5th through 8th
it's just
gets themselves $1,200 a piece. Not too shabby, but it's that 4th and up. 2K, second place with 5,000, and first place gets themselves $12,000.
I mean, the second place prize pool is like the prize pool for like most high-end Heroes events as it is.
Yeah.
Like 5,000, that's the whole pricing. But 12K for first?
Yeah.
That's some serious dough.
Really is. Who's going to be the one to take it? Tempo Storm has been showing themselves with the consistency, but a lot of other teams have been doing just that, really breaking into the scene. So it's going to be very exciting. That will be in 2 weeks. It'll be on twitch.tv/BlizzHeroes.
Yeah,
is it the 18th? Or is it earlier than that? I'm trying to remember the exact date of it. Don't quote me on it. I don't know why
18th,
I did this.
18th sounds right, but yeah, it's a little bit different than the previous qualifiers because it was always the round of 128, and then the week after would be the round of 8.
Sure.
But there is an additional week in between this time around. For what reason? I mean, that's irrelevant, I suppose.
Yeah.
More time for the teams to really prepare for their first matchup because the bracket, they'll know their opponent.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing you have to think about. They have an additional week to really just study up on their first matchup because even if you only win the single game, you're pushing your earnings up so much higher and setting yourself up so much closer to that advancement to the regionals event. The draft has begun. Let's switch on over on Cursed Hollow for the first game of this best-of-3 series.
Between Pool, Platos, some Tangos, and Luminosity Gaming, formerly Goon Squad. So you may recognize some of the names. We got to see a little bit of Luminosity, a lot of PPST, and they look phenomenal.
Yeah,
they look like they're playing so well.
Just to recap the previous matches we just cast, they crushed their opponents. Like 5-level leads, absolutely just dominating the competition. And now we're going to be seeing these two Titans butt heads. Zeratul is going to be the first ban by Pool Player some Tangos, Luminosity. Will they go for the standard bans, Kael'thas, Jaina, which we tend to see for Assassins, even Zagara, pretty popular here, but it's Cursed Hollow, not as highly prioritized.
I wouldn't even be like completely surprised to see like a Muradin banned out really early. If they're allowed to take Muradin, especially when they're first pick, they'll usually grab the strong pick in that first one. So in this case, maybe it'll be like Jaina or Zagara or something like that. But then those next 2 picks, it's always like Uther, Muradin. And I'm waiting for the day when a team just says, nah, we're just going to take out Muradin right from the get-go and put you a little bit on the back foot. It's going to be Zagara in this case. You mentioned the strength, the rise of popularity that this hero has seen over the past 3 weeks. Jaina is grabbed. Luminosity. They're going to take Leoric, Kael'thas. Those are the 5, arguably the 5 strongest heroes in the current meta for the NA scene. PPST, are they going to follow this up with the classic Muradin, Uther?
I like that call a lot. I think that would...
it just seems to be like what they go for. They like Jaina too a lot.
It conforms to the standard NA meta as well.
Not even really so much the meta. It's just what PPST likes and what they run a lot.
True.
A bit of a larger map, so the rotations aren't quite as strong, and pushing is quite good.
That's just a safe composition too. I mean, Ice Block at 13 for the late game really helps you deal with that Kael'thas, but they also have to consider just the power of Malfurion's AoE healing. Not really worried about it right now. They are going to pick up Uther. Divine Shield, cleanse his heals in general, very powerful hero. And do they pick up Muradin to give B-Kid his favorite hero to play? By far his... I mean, he's probably the best Muradin in NA.
Yeah. I don't think that's an unfair statement to make.
Okay, well, they're thinking about it. They're down. They have 70 full seconds remaining here in the bonus pool. Other options, if they do want to prioritize damage earlier in the draft instead of picking up Muradin, it's pretty likely Muradin will be banned out. So that's something they really have to consider. But Vala is another really powerful ranged assassin they could try to go for. Don't think we'll see a melee assassin.
They're taking their time.
Early.
This is usually like a rapid-fire pick for them.
Yeah.
So what is it they're thinking about?
Well, let's think about Goon Squad. And Goon Squad...
Luminosity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, excuse me. Luminosity. Known to have a little bit more aggro. They actually play melee assassins more often.
Do you think that Tyrande is perhaps on the chopping block right now?
It could be.
Or not really, but
it could be.
They might be trying to steal it away. They still have a ban to use coming up after this pick.
And they go for Johanna.
That is... Are they trying to set up to force an Asmodan ban?
I think you might be right.
But it's just so strange given the battleground.
This is cool. This is a mix-up for PPST.
I don't know. What else are we missing?
Well,
Luminosity.
let's just rewind and talk about the new hero, the new player. Tiger JK, now known as Moon, on PPST. Thus far today, we have only seen him play melee assassins. He's capable of playing ranged, sure. But Johanna can pair nicely with Kerrigan. And they might be trying to see if they can slip that in. Tyrande is banned out. So they set themselves up for the potential Asmodan, and they set themselves up for the potential melee assassin.
Yeah, but there. Does pair well with Leoric.
Yeah, that's...
If they do like a Leoric double warrior...
I think that their ban is really intelligent here. Is PPST going to bust out Lost Vikings?
Yeah. And also, another thing to keep in mind, too. While we were casting that last game, PPST had time to go back and look through Luminosity's drafts. That's all public knowledge. You can look through those past drafts and see. Maybe they saw a pattern. And that could also very easily explain why we're seeing some of these less than standard picks and bans for some of the heroes on PPST's side. Maybe they have been running a lot of Abathur Double Warrior.
All right, there's the Muradin. So that's Double Warrior already. They should lock in a support here to hide that final pick. In terms of what we see thus far, I would prefer Rhaegar over Malfurion.
Both of these teams are... I mean, you mentioned PPST grabbing the melee assassin. Luminosity, no stranger to that style of play.
Ooh.
They're not going to go for it this game with the Double Warrior.
Locking in additional damage. Does PPST do something weird? Now, weird options. Lost Vikings, who are all but extinct in North America, have seen good success in other regions still. They're still played in Europe. They're still played in Asia. We actually saw some really strong play in Southeast Asia last night in the qualifier. And
something's jumping out of me. Something's jumping out of me. I'm
okay.
Feeling it.
All right.
Kerrigan falls dead. That's just I don't know why I got this vibe. I'm just like thinking back to...
We talked about Kerrigan, but exactly why Falstad? Why do you like Falstad in this scenario?
It's the condemn and to pull into Hinterland's Blast.
In Falstad, of course.
For some reason, I'm not sure what it is. it's jumping out at me. They have the Uther already.
I want to agree with you, just because when you see Abathur banned, Abathur's strong for a variety of reasons, but they also have this presence of Soak, right? They want to have that kind of global presence. And Cursed Hollow being a very large map, very large battleground, having Fly is a strong asset to have.
Let's fly.
Well, Zebo not able to fly. Still doesn't mean that Falstad can't happen.
Does have a lot of feathers on his head, though.
But this sets up an even bigger case for Kerrigan. Not so much for the Hinterland Blast, but the Condemn, the Zombie Wall, the Primal Grasp. The combos are real.
I haven't seen PPST play the Zebo.
Oh, there he is. Well,
dang. The weird pick?
The weird pick.
That's the one I was right on. I thought the Kerrigan was like, all right, yeah, Kerrigan, but Falstad?
It still works. It still works here. And again, the global presence is something you really cannot count out here on Cursed Hollow. Final pickup will be a support for Luminosity. I like Rhaegar better. They go for Malf. I like Rhaegar better just because at the end of the day, Chain Heal is still very powerful for AoE healing, and Ancestral can make massive plays, but Malfurion is a bit safer in terms of the...
Let's look at the composition from PPST's perspective.
Sure.
A little bit of mobility. I think a lot of it will be revolving around the team fight. Johanna with the Condemn, Blessed Shield, can lock those Condemn targets in. Zombie Wall, Hinterland's Blast, Jaina's combo. All that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for. Now, when you look between Malf and Rhaegar, which of those two heroes is more likely to survive that?
Ice Block is pretty good.
Ice Block is pretty good. Vala has the dash out. Muradin.
That's fair.
Leap. Leoric, especially if you go for the Hardened Bones and activate Wraith Walk almost instantly. It's really Kael'thas that's the vulnerable target. That could be part of the philosophy.
Yeah, that
both
makes a lot
have
of
plans,
sense.
so I don't think it's... You know, Nazeebo also has the poke from the range.
Maybe I just missed Rhaegar, Kubi. He hasn't been played at all today. What's happened to my Wolf
Is that
boy?
true?
Yeah. He has not been played a single game.
He's been
on our
banned a
stream.
couple games.
Yeah, he has been banned a few games.
All right.
Well, this is the first game in this best-of-3 series between Platos, Tangos, and Luminosity Gaming, formerly Goon Squad, and we're going to Cursed Hollow. A very large battleground, one of the more neutral battlegrounds, and there's so much on the line right now.
Yeah, it's rare that actually we see Battlegrounds or series start out on Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, lately.
It's usually Sky Temple.
As of late. It's definitely...
So excited to see both these teams facing off. I mean, I will say it flat out. It's, it's a real shame that they aren't facing off in the top 8. Not in the double limited portion.
It's
the
unfortunate.
team that does not advance here is out.
This
they will not be going to BlizzCon. They will not be advancing. So there's so much more on the line than even just that prize pool. It's about that chance to go to BlizzCon, and one of those two teams on the left side of the map. It is Luminosity, most recently sponsored, formerly Goon Squad. We're going to have Goku on the Leoric, Matra on the Malfurion. Boss Foss will be playing Muradin. Goat is going to be on the Kael'thas, and Hosty with the Golden Angelic Vala on the Golden Money Pig.
How did he know he was going to be introduced at that moment? Look at the Skinnergies right here.
Gosh.
This is beautiful Skinnergy, and so is this. They all are. Huge props there. But on the opposing side, we have the one, the only Platos Tangos with Moon playing as Falstad. It's going to be B-Kid on Johanna King Plato playing the Nazeebo, Apollo on Jaina, and rounding up the team is Mookie's on Uther. The stakes have never been higher for these teams. This match determines whether or not the dream to compete at BlizzCon stays alive.
The stakes could be higher.
Well,
if Butcher was playing.
Oh.
Got him!
Oh, gosh.
Woo!
Goku. Looking fine
Man,
down there.
yeah.
The Skinnergies.
Credit to Luminosity, all of their skin mount combos.
Skinnergies.
Skin mount combos.
All right, a bit of a rotation here. Apollo and King Plato rotating down. Goku's a very hard target to eliminate. They're just looking to get some damage done to this back wall. Goku's going to just kind of have to concede his position back behind the wall while they take structural damage. Zombie wall, soaking up some of those shots, doing a bit of damage to the wall. And, yeah, it's already, well done.
Symmetrically in the top lane. We do have pressure from Luminosity. Moon is going to get rooted. We'll take some damage. Won't be falling here. But again, it's just the same we saw in the bottom lane pressure. Forcing those heroes that are trying to soak the bottom lane back behind the wall just to make sure they're safe. And it's a big difference from what we saw with the teams they were facing up to this point. It's the respect. It's the respect for the potential to rotate and knowing that you could fall early and overextend.
All right, well, the first tower will fall this game very early. The Wraith Walk, allowing him to walk back, but even trades.
Mid lane
won't stop talking.
He won't. Those dwarves. Mid lane is probably going to be very, very quiet, I would imagine, between the two warriors, B-Kid, Boss Plus.
Wow, I'm going to kill this Falstad. All right, let's just take a look at the talents. Nothing really out of the ordinary at this point in time. We're actually going to see the power throw on Falstad, which is probably the most unique talent we see here. This could lean towards a more auto-tech style. Some of the later talents do increase the damage output. And is that Tiger JK? I think he's actually... Oh, yeah, it is Moon. He's spam-clicking his hero to make him talk. I think that's actually what's happening.
Check his APM. Highest app? No, he doesn't have. Jake, you're wrong. I don't know. I guess you can match your keyboard faster. What actually counts as APM that's...
It's Heroes of the Storm.
Effective APM? You remember when they added that in, the EAPM? That was a big controversy in StarCraft. He's just still going. He just will not stop.
Yep. Across the map, we can hear him.
Reverberation, Thunderburn.
Yep. All right.
Good job for those Thunderclap talents. We do have the Luminous Grace once more. Fealty unto death for that extra sustain. The really quick res, something that we can expect to see if he falls. So maybe a bit more of the aggressive style. We do have the double warriors. Perhaps even one of the skeletal swing upgrades at level 7. But we have our first tribute spawning of the game in full representation from Luminosity to start. Falstead can fly down at any moment. Just keep that in mind.
Okay, good stall there by Mookie's buying some time. Apollo having that Blizzard crash on 2 targets condemned, just a moment late from pulling them in time.
Falstead is not flying down, which means we're just going to see stall tactics. They're looking to get that extra bit of soak, get ahead in the experience. We're going to see, you know, just oh, they're not going to get it. All right. I thought perhaps the cooldown for the shield glare was off, and that's a great, you know, just quick flash poke tool that can stall for a good amount of time. They did get a slight experience lead, probably not as much as they were hoping to see.
Yeah, it's very slightly in their favor, like you said. But, you know, every advantage counts. It allowed them to get level 7 first, but we do see that Luminosity is backing up and collecting the first Merc camp of the game, starting with the Bruisers. So Goat and Hosty just going to grab them, rotate back down, and maybe start assisting and pushing a different lane. We did see the early aggression here in the bottom. Doesn't make sense for them to join them there.
Is it Falstead and Muradin? Who's doing the talking? Now they're quiet. Now they're quiet. Yeah, chat's saying it's Muradin. I don't know. Dwarf light. Oh, the aggressive play. Oh, so close. They knew that that was exactly what was going on. They needed to respond to this. Is this a little bit too much?
I think it is Muradin, actually, now that you say that. What's Muradin's APM? Not that high?
No. Clearly the indicator.
Oh, Leoric topping the charts. So overpowered, clearly.
All right, second tribute is up. The trend thus far for Luminosity. They have the presence card. They already have the rotation. Are they going to be able to collect this Goat once more?
Stormbolt buying time on Apollo. Gravity Lapse is thrown up, but they come down, pulling in the entire team. Johanna in return will take a lot of damage. We see the Wraith Walk getting Boss Floss out of there. Excuse me, Goku. And yeah, they're just going to run away from those spiders for the time being.
Doing that consistent damage over time. Moon just still trying to soak this lane. Hosty and Macho trying to punish this style of play. This is going to be a drawn-out fight, I think.
They're actually opting to concede it. Yeah,
the instant I say it's going to be a drawn-out fight, boom, they're leaving.
Catch his curse.
Instant.
I guess.
So we trade this off 1 for 1. Perhaps they didn't feel they had to sustain. That's fair. That is fair. Falstad has a lot of corridor-style control. Yeah, with the hammer throw, spiders, all those things. Quite scary over time.
All right, Zebo's gonna... Oh, you can actually position the zombie wall directly between the giants that cause them to bug out and like kind of push. Like they'll like get pushed all the way over here. They get so confused. It always makes me laugh. But didn't do that this time. And we do see a lot of damage being thrown out onto Falstad. Gravity Labs will be dodged. Moon going to be able to escape here.
That was close. Look at the experience. Just shows how evenly matched both of these teams are. Tributes are tied up. And we have the third one. This is not a critical tribute for either team. Who's going to poke? Who's going to stick around? We do have Falstad. He Hearthback will be able to fly in if he so sees it necessary. Oop. Jake just checking to see if his escape key works. It does. It does indeed. All right. B-Kid with the flashlight ready. There it is. Over the wall. Zombie wall.
Yeah, to define time. Inside. Good peel. Goat will be able to pick this up. So it's 2-1 in favor of Luminosity at this point in time. Just when you have Leoric and Muradin, that's a big front line that's hard to penetrate. And level 10 has been reached. We can see those heroic talents being picked up here. Strafe, Tranquility, Phoenix, Avatar, and Leoric will likely go with the March. Yes, there it is.
I think they could have made a small argument for Entomb, but March is also good. It is the second warrior, going for that very sustained style, but perhaps using this heroic to sort of even out the damage that he might be missing on some of the other abilities.
Multiple ice blocks, divine shield, and makes it tough to really capitalize on it too. All right, we do see Goat getting very low. The Gargantuan has been summoned here, and he will end up falling. So nicely done, but the Gargantuan pushing forward, trying to continue to do more damage here.
Okay, the strafe was good. I was waiting to see if the March of the Black King was going to be popped. It was not. Probably felt they weren't going to get enough damage.
Falstad went... He died here. And I don't know if he tried to go behind enemy lines or what. We missed the action there, but I did see his body fading. Machrai trying to channel here. B-Kid will be there in time to stall, but Boss Floss having the body blocks on the other side. Pops the Avatar. Tranquility is used by Machrai as well, and they're forcing them back. That's 2 heroics used.
Yeah, they do have the Water Elemental out, and that will be... That's out about half duration at this point. Falstad is back up, and Zebo is out. Goat looking to try to capture this. I think he will. That will be the first curse of the game going to Luminosity. and they get no additional takedowns. So thus far, at this point, depending on how they take advantage of this Moon, man, really aggressive. If he gets locked out, if he gets stunned right there, I think he's out.
That was a big mistake. Way too cheeky. Should have known the team was rotating there. Just throwing his life away. The bottom fort going to end up falling. The middle fort being pressured here heavily, and they're going to take it out. Leork has rotated to the bottom. Going to try to take them as well.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate barrel roll. Good cleanse from Mookies. Gets himself out of trouble. That could have been quite scary, especially considering the roots that could have fallen underneath him. So we're seeing Leork pushing heavily in the bottom lane. Looks like the rest of this rotation crew will go up to the top side. They might actually get all 3 forts, yeah. Still have 20 seconds to do this. They already have the creep wave pushing. It's got more than half damage.
Oh, I love this positioning. Going from behind, but they're being collapsed upon. Moon is all alone, and we do see the blind going out from B-Kid.
He's got to fade it out. He's got to fade out.
Well. But all the while, they're stalling. They're really buying time for Leork to really push on this bottom lane. So while the whole team is here, it's just a stall strat. But from behind, Gargantuan, zombie walls, locking down the kill. Thos, beautiful play. Citrus Blast lines up, does get the kill there. Matre is getting low. He does not have tranquility. Boss Blast should end up falling as well. 2 for nothing.
A great turnaround. Good time to put that pressure on. They thought they were going to be the ones to rotate around and punish Moon for the defense, and they immediately came up, rotated, and represented. Only real advantage going to Luminosity is exactly this. Goku getting a lot of push down in this bottom lane and is going to be backing out now.
And the reason this is such a big deal is the fact that this keep, the fort and the keep wall are both exposed. This is their boss. It's so much easier to take the boss on your side of the map. So if it's ever picked up, it has to be responded to, or else your keep is going to take far too much damage.
Okay, pair of giants picked up for Luminosity. Is Moon going to reciprocate? I think there's just doing a lot of mercenary camp pressure. Both teams. This is sort of the lull in the action between the end of the curse. There's a longer gap between when the next tribute spawns. Sometimes we see the bosses picked up here. I don't think either team feels they have enough of an advantage to do it. This is potentially risky. There's no easy way to check this now. You can't just hit tab and see, so they are going to get away with it. Yeah, and this might actually even buy them enough time. Are they going to send some heroes up to try to stall this?
They should actually have enough time to take their own boss, but it is a bit risky. We see the rotation happening. Moon going to be able to pick up these giants here to, provide a little bit of defense on the boss, and they will be successful in picking this up. Wraith Walk, I don't think will be there in time. Nope. Goku gonna try it, but no.
Immediately turns around upon seeing that. So we're gonna have traded bosses, and both teams have taken the forts on either side, their respective side for the forts, for the golems to push down. We're gonna see a full defense for Luminosity.
Yep. They're going to be able to clean this up very quickly. The bottom boss, they're getting there just in time, but it will get some permanent damage done onto this keep. And that's, at the end of the day, it's still a small win here for Luminosity.
Yep.
It's almost half health. That's actually pretty good by that boss. Other boss got 1 smack on the wall. All the mercenary camps have been collected at this point in time. 1 to 0 times the tributes in favor of the boys over at Platos, Tangos, and here is the 5th tribute of the game.
Only the 1 tribute advantage thus far. We're still putting that extra push. Trying to get the positional advantage on this. Not going to be successful. Luminosity going to go for it. They actually have a lockdown onto Nazeebo. Beautiful. They're giving up the tribute in favor of this, and I can't argue with it.
His parts are everywhere. His hat's there, his something's there, his body's over here. Poor Nazeebo.
Ruthless.
Yeah, and this keep should go down. They're down a hero.
Hold on now.
They're going to have level 16.
Hero.
The Phoenix is in a great spot. All right, they do back up. And a lot of damage being dealt here. We do see Boss Blast getting powered down by the Water Ellie. Condemn pulling him in. Tranquility has to be popping. It's not going to be enough. A little bit too late with those
but
heals.
Hold on the march! Not quite. We do see the ice block. I think. Oh, with the Divine Shield. That's such a good play from Mookie.
Gosh. Is it enough, though?
To stay alive. The swing is able to get a home run. Goku knocks him out of the park, and we're going to see that keep taken that they were really looking.
The living bomb? That's actually going to kill Mookie. No, he does get the kill off just in time, but the keep does go down. So nice trades there. Big plays on both sides. Muradin did fall early in the battle. They turn it around with a huge strafe. And they still have that advantage, level 16, but it's around the corner for Platos Tangos, who are not out of this game by any means.
No, yeah, that level 16 is going to be what are we likely to see. We do have the Giant Killer picked up at 13. Usually it's the shield on the Thunder Strikes
Yeah, it's gonna be the
It's a little bit more spellcast. It's an overdrive.
The auto tech
no, overdrive. I think is very likely. To
oh, that's
take,
right. Yeah, it's a
really
bit of a weird build here for False
big
Dad.
hit and blast.
The boomerang. It's like it's actually
aside from the giant killer, it's haven't seen it in some time.
Yeah,
used to be the rewind at 13. That was the standard thing. But.
All right. Collecting this tribute to the best of their ability. This is not crucial to defend by any means. If they're not feeling confident, they should back up. Johanna's taking a ton of damage. The Phoenix in the front line. The Flame Strike positioned perfectly, but B-Kid will stay alive. Leoric is the first one to fall, rotating back. And that's the entire team getting clipped. The Bacon Blast is real, and Murden will end up falling.
Oh, wow. That was so well positioned. They saw the exact retreat path, knew that so many people would be lining up in that scenario. And what I thought was a terrible start to the fight for PPST. B-Kid taking so much damage early. Goku is back up. That is just, thanks to the Leoric style. He's going to be able to get out through the use of the Wraith Walk. Doesn't get too much accomplished. Now they have level 16. Ooh. That's the Leaping Spiders. They actually went for the Imposing Presence, which is very interesting.
Got to be so careful with the Living Bombs. We actually saw that Nazebo and Uther almost did damage to each other. If you're too close together, it can be devastating, but that is actually a curse this time in favor of Pool Platos Tangos, who have a response. They're fighting back in the late game.
Boss is up just after this curse ends, too. They could be able to, they can put enough pressure on, take some of these forts out, maybe even have some additional mercenary camp pressure. This could get quite scary for Luminosity. All of a sudden finding themselves on the back foot. Takedown so close, 7-5. This is the epic match that we knew we would see in this round of 16. Remember, winner of this advances to the top 8 to enter that double elimination portion and their chance to qualify for the America's Championship.
Phoenix thrown out here, trying to just dissuade them from pushing onto this middle fort, but the damage is being dealt. It's incredibly low. Curse continues for another 20 seconds, but as Johanna, too extended here, does get out of the roots. Flame Strike goes out, nice dodge as well, able to disengage.
Yep, Bless Shield good to sort of lock down those potential chasers. You're to back up. Not getting so much done with this curse, honestly.
Well, yeah, they're not, but they've at
took
least
some pressure. They have the lanes pushed out.
That's I think that helps a lot. And experience, for the first time, they actually have an advantage.
Yep, they do, but they didn't get any of the keeps. That is a big thing that Luminosity does have over PPST. They're going to be able to constantly have that bottom wave pushed out with the catapults.
Okay, 18-18, incredibly even in terms of experience. Bruisers picked up on the left side, Giants here on the right. Just the boss standing right now, and that's the risky play to take. If any team does go for it.
I thought it was risky before, and they grabbed it, and they just went for it.
True.
So I'm not even really sure what they're going for when in terms of loss. They go for it when they just have some kind of inkling that the enemy team is across the map. We'll see if that's going to be the case here. But this is like very heavy representation from both sides. B-Kid started hiding in the bush, looking for the moment, the opportunity to go out. Not going to take it.
Yeah, all right, so both bosses are up at this point in time as well. And I have to say, like, right now I wish Moon was split soaking. He can fly into battle. I think getting 21st is the best way to get ahead at this point in time, but they're just trying to keep the enemy team honest. They're trying to keep eyes on Luminosity, find out what they're doing. Middle fort does end up going down, so that pressure in the middle lane did pay off.
DK taking a good bit of poke, sort of slowly pushing the enemy team back. You can see the Leaping Spiders well at work there. Such a strong zoning tool, and you talked about that split push. Moon is doing just that in the middle lane.
All right.
Very tense moments here. They're going for it.
This is such a risky thing to do. If they do back off.
Sort of threatening with it. No intentions to fully grab it. They just want to pull PPST in.
Right, and the reason this is beneficial is because of this. The top lane has these Giants. If they're not responded to, well, that's a bit of a big win for them. So Moon hearthing back. He can start this. They'll likely try to start the boss again, but that's the big advantage for Falstad. Falstad, not only is he going to be soaking this experience, this is going to put them very close to 20. He's going to clean up this threat that did exist, and suddenly they're going to push ahead towards that level 20 now, but they're aggressing here in the bottom lane onto Mookie's. The blind goes out, Flame Strike hitting just Johanna, and they are collapsing upon them. Falstad has to fly into battle. There it is. In a position where he is going to be safe to do so, and now it's a 5v5 situation where level 20 is very close here on the side of Pool Platos Tangos.
Phoenix thrown out for a little bit of zone. Gargantuan is also out. They don't have the Humongoid yet, so there is a duration on that.
It's true. It's a 40-second cooldown as well.
Tense. They just They know that this next engagement means so much.
And this tribute means nothing. And look at this. They're actually checking the boss. They realize they're not there, and they might just go for it.
I like it.
Showing himself in the middle lane. They don't have eyes on the enemy team, so Goku going to capture this tribute, but now they're realizing, oh, they're not here. We're going to have to trade out bosses each team. Going to end up picking up each boss. It is 20, though. And we do have the indestructible Bolt, Redemption, Epic Mount, yeah, and then Bolt of the Storm.
Okay, so I'm remembering the last time, I think it was Glauron, who was playing on this map, and he was doing ridiculous, like, pressure. It wasn't even really so much soaking, but he was constantly shoving out every lane. It brings the cooldown of Fly to 20 seconds. And you constantly just be all over the map. And it was a really cool style of false dead play. And he has the lane clear ability, especially with that boomerang.
Oh yeah, he definitely does. Well, it's a cool thing to have, but the unfortunate thing right now for Platos is they have this 20 advantage, but they can't take advantage of it. They have to clean up this boss. The enemy team is cleaning up the boss themselves, and they will be able to hit level 20 before an engagement does occur.
Yep. Consume Vitality, picked up. Oh, Jake! Death March.
This is not something we see a lot of.
No, but it's awesome. I'll tell you why it's awesome. The range, the last hit goes down for the March of the Black King. Within the range of Drain Hope, he attaches a Drain Hope to every single enemy target. What can make him impossible to take down because he is pulling in HP from all those targets, and he's doing so much damage.
Yeah, that's true. He's just dishing out a lot of damage as well. All right, so this tribute is here. Again, it's not a crucial tribute, but each tribute counts a lot, and they don't just want to get up and give this one away. Giants in each side of the battleground for the teams.
I'm so excited for this Death March. That's all.
Just anticipation.
It's
right
like
now.
we do not see this very often. It's almost always Hardened Shield.
Yeah.
If you even take Death March, sometimes we see the Spectral. What is the Spectral Leech? Spectral Leech picked up. That's a 5% soak up on the auto attacks, but almost never we get to see this ability. I think it's really strong, but it has to be positioned very peculiarly.
Look at B-Kids. Yeah. Just standing there, stalwart, stoic.
Stoic. It's a good word, Jake. That is a good word. All right, Boss Goku, representing the front line, trying to bait the remaining members of PPST to going in.
Each team poking, but they have moved
march
forward. No march yet, but he might need to do it to stay alive. He's actually going to Wraith walk back. A lot of damage has been done. Very favorable fight thus far for Platos and Tangos, forcing the retreat. The Gargantuan in the front line, slamming on Boss Floss. They throw down that Flame Strike. A lot of damage done to Mookie's. But as the blast goes down, nicely done. That's a dead enough here, and very early in the fight, he couldn't pop the Ice Block. Goku is getting that big, massive march, but the lifesteal isn't enough. B-Kid, incredibly low, still standing at this point in time.
Look how low so many of the members of PPST are, but doesn't matter. Apollo is able to dodge the Gravity Lapse. B-Kid is now pushing Boss Floss back. Gang Plato and the rest of the members of PPST, I think they're going to be able to punish him. No, he's able to use the Dwarf Toss over the wall.
The Flame Strike is going to hit. Apollo is so low. Divine Shield is used to keep him alive, and we see the False Head flying up, picking up that kill on Muradin.
They understand that the death timers are very long at this point in the game, over a minute. We see pinging up into the upper right-hand side of the map. The Giants were able to take the keep. That's a big dust. 2 keeps down.
Oh, so there were Giants on both sides, but there were catapults in the bottom lane because the bottom kid had already fallen for Platos and Tangos. So what would have been an even trade out in terms of lane presence during that drawn-out fight ends up being very favorable here. Falsehead cleaning up that lane, but 2 keeps are down, and they didn't capitalize on that 3-hero takedown because they're afraid of the damage of Kael'thas.
Yeah, it's a very scary spot to be in. Hero probably has the most damage output in the zone control with that Phoenix. Has proven itself so many times. All right. Falstad in position to collect that tribute. Not a critical tribute once more. Actually, he's going to just stop on the way, pop the overdrive, and just take out this mercenary camp.
I think they think they're going to be uncontested here because the Muradin is still down. I don't think they're going to even go for it. Uther is actually going to start channeling it, and Go could throw out a Flame Strike, but it will actually be too late to be able to stop this capture, and that is 2-0 in favor of Platos. Now,
if there's any team that needs a tribute or a curse, it's definitely PPST. They have a lot more structural work. They have to push out the lanes so much more.
Do you think it's enough
to take a curse?
To bring this game back? Like, if they're in a scenario where they're down 2 keeps, they're pushed against the wall in that regard.
They're not so far behind that if they take a convincing team fight, they can't win.
Okay.
They can't outright win. So like it's still neck and neck between these teams. There's a little bit more advantage. It puts much more pressure on the enemy team if they can take that curse. For either side, a bit less so for Luminosity. I love this. I can fly tension. It's palpable.
It is. And, you know, Epic Mount is a massive selling point right now for their defense. He can just fly across the battleground, push out these waves, especially with this build. He's currently sitting on 5 Gathering Power stacks, so he is at max power. Kael'thas, actually, let's actually check his stacks as well. He's at 2. So he's not really fully powered up. Stun thrown out here on Goku.
Oh, we have to be careful. The March, so scary, and there it is. It's going to pick up
Ice
two
Block
members.
was
Okay.
where it needed to be.
Good
We
dodge.
see just the one going out, but very low Uther. Divine Shield not used here. With the cleanse, a self-heal. He has redemption if needed. Infinite Blast does take out Leoric. Boss Floss in the front line, taking a lot of damage himself. Goku trying to get back alive, using all of his kits while in his ghost form, but Uther doesn't care if he falls. He'll go into his ghost form and then a respawn of redemption, continuing to buy time for his team.
The Indestructible is popped. BK getting the heal on top of that should be able to keep him alive. The Flame Strike, very strong. Should be able to get an additional heal.
He's low.
Yep,
There are the heals. All right, Spiders buying time for the
Look at
team.
this, Goku's
Leoric
back up
is
already.
back up, yes, and this is a really bad spot for Uther. Has to use the Divine Shield on himself.
That gives a good amount of positioning for Hosty to be able to pick up this tribute.
I can't believe they won that fight. I really cannot believe they won that fight.
The fact that Leoric was back up is such a huge deal.
So
This is
strong.
why we keep saying over and over that he's a great late game hero for that reason.
And all right, they're
able to
working
res.
on the boss. It's already going to be falling here. They had to respond to the Giants from the top lane. Once again, having those keeps down has been such a massive benefit.
Whoa!
They stepped off the point for a moment. They almost did lose the boss here, but they're collapsing upon. We do see the damage going out. Malfurion falls very early. They have the strafe trying to do the damage. Hinterland's Blast is ready in 10, 20 seconds. No,
Wow,
so
the
far away.
strafe should have been able to do a lot more damage. Not saying it would have taken anyone out, but put pressure on, but they had no vision of the targets that were over the wall. You need vision to hit with the strafe. That ended up being a big deal. We see Moon flying back, just trying to keep these lanes under wraps. Having this 2 keeps down, we're not saying it enough. It's so much pressure that is constantly be putting on these lanes. That's why we see Luminosity with the minion wave pressure constantly.
Yeah, it's so tough to beat. And look at this, they're working on the boss. B-Kid scouts this out. They see the health pool, but they need to defend this boss first. Have they done enough damage? They say yes, they're leaving. The shields still stand. Trying to force them off. B-Kid applying the threat. They do disengage. This is a big win.
Back up once more. We do have about 15 seconds.
This is a curse, though. This is a curse. And this has to be fought over.
Like I said, there's so much more value to be had for PPST since they don't have any of the keeps being taken out. And also, they have the
can he get their time? Spiders, they do it.
Spiders,
okay.
Yep, good.
This is so tense at this moment. This curse could be game for either team. Falsehead still back in base, defending this lane. He has that epic flight to get into battle.
So many times it's like he feels like he walks forward and has to use that Wraith Walk way too early. What is going to be the pressure? Are they going to be able to throw down a really nice Death March? They dodged it really well last time with the Ice Block when they had 2 heroes who were just about out of range. There it is. Once more. It's going to hit 5, all 5.
Oh, they back out. They back out immediately. So well done. Hinterland's Blast this time only hitting the one target. Kingdom pulling them in. Murden very low, but he has Dwarf Toss available, I believe. He does pop the shield there to stay alive. Divine Shield forced on Falsehead to keep him alive. And in the front, it's Johanna using that Unstoppable to back away.
Does have the Indestructibles to keep that in mind. Moon just barely dodging them. King Plato this game, but has to back up. Yep. Okay, Boss Floss. Now they have the pressure. It looks as though Goat is going to be able to collect this tribute. They are going to be able to get this curse. Yes. Does this push them to get this final keep of the game? B-Kid looking to put more pressure onto this back line.
If they can't take a win here, this curse could end the game in favor of Luminosity. Boss Floss does fall. The Flame Strike doesn't hit anything, and they can now defend the boss. The game is not over yet, but the core is taking heavy siege from these catapults.
Yes, and it's way down in HP.
Oh, that might
almost
be
falling below.
Oh,
yes,
no.
That's why we see Goku into this area, and he's going to be able to res quickly. That's it. I don't think they can.
Yeah, that is it.
Wow, not
the
what I was expecting to see. Yeah, the catapults are able to so quickly clear out the minion waves when they have just the 1 HP. They do AoE damage.
Yeah.
A crazy end to that game. I knew we were going to have an amazing series between these 2 teams. So Luminosity finding themselves up 1-0 after a crazy series of fights.
Wow.
Really just oof.
If it wasn't for those keeps being down in the late game, we saw how well Pool Platos was playing. They were getting the better end. But some early takedowns, just opening up the doors to put on that structural damage. We saw that split push from Leoric in the bottom lane very early in the game, setting them up to take out that keep. And that pressure they had, it did so much for them.
Yeah, it's a strong tactic. And you mentioned that they pushed out the lane where they had the boss, and that did a lot to put pressure on that keep very early, maybe around like 12 minutes in the game. They already had the keeps down to half HP, and there was a lot of moments where they were able to threaten, put a lot of damage, and they say, okay, we're going to take a team fight. Even if we trade out heroes, maybe get that one extra hero in this fight, we can push, take the keep, put the pressure on early, and it was just consistent throughout the game. They needed that one curse to really reset the minion waves. PPST was not ever able to find that opportunity.
It's so close.
It was.
Though.
But that's really what makes the greatest games of Heroes.
Sure.
Is two teams with such high skill caliber facing off just like that.
Well, Pool Plato Some Tangos has advanced to the round of 8 twice now. Goon Squad did advance last month, and they're now one game away from going back up to that top 8. We're going to find out what the second battleground of this series will be. We're going to take a very short break, and we'll be back with game number 2 in just a few.
And no moment in history where I could stand and say, oh, it begins here, now.